There are several reasons why Imagine Dragons named their latest album Loom. For starters, frontman Dan Reynolds dug the ominous sound of the title. Then there's the nostalgia factor of Loom also being the name of one of his favorite childhood video games. But most importantly, Reynolds, 36, knows that the word represents the fact that life hurtles on, whether we like it or not, something he learned amid a difficult stretch while writing the record. My world had been turned upside down. I had just moved to a brand new city. I was refining myself. It was a very transitionary time for me, Reynolds tells people in this week's issue. I really don't like change, but the sooner you can accept the inevitability of change, the more peaceful life becomes. Just like the Dragons' other works, including their 7x platinum 2012 debut album Night Visions, Reynolds says the band's latest effort is essentially his journal entries from the past few years. During that time, he moved from Las Vegas to Los Angeles and ended his marriage to singer Asia Volkman, whom he wed in 2011 and with whom he shares daughters Arrow, 11, Gia and Coco, 7, and son Valentine, 4. Reynolds has since found love again with actress Minka Kelly. Several songs on the album, including Don't Forget Me and Fire in These Hills, appear to hint at the difficult split, which is par for the course with Reynolds, as he has been using music as a cathartic outlet for his feelings since he was 12 years old. That's the way I process life, is through music. Whether it was Mormonism or heartbreak or joy or sadness, music has always been my go-to to see how I'm feeling and express it, he says, referring to the religion in which he was raised, but walked away from several years ago. Growing up, the star watched his 6 older brothers play in garage bands, which in turn inspired him to use computer programs to make music of his own. Singing came later. As a kid, his brothers called him Cookie Monster due to his voice's raspy tone, which led him to doubt his talents as a singer. But before long, he quietly began recording himself. The first song he ever wrote was called All by Himself. I didn't show it to anybody, but it felt so good to express something that I couldn't quite express in conversation, he says of his early struggles with mental health. By the time he co-founded Imagine Dragons in 2008 while at Brigham Young University, he had over 1,000 songs in his repertoire. The Dragons lineup currently includes Reynolds, guitarist Wayne Sermon and bassist Ben McKee, whom he calls his best friends. I find so much fulfillment through the Dragons, Reynolds says. We have been through so much together as a trio that I think we have deep, mutual respect for each other. It's like family, but also professional. We've been to therapy together as a band. As Reynolds prepares for the release of Imagine Dragons' new album, and the July 30th kickoff of the band's largest North American headlining tour to date, he feels he's finally found his groove, in life and on stage. And if things must change, he's ready to navigate whatever ebbs and flows are yet to come. I take this job really seriously. I know there's a million people gunning and wanting to do exactly what I'm doing, so I feel very fortunate, and I try to do it to the best of my ability, he says. The album is really about the present, but it's also looking into the past and the future, being a little fearful of what's to come but excited. It's about new beginnings. For more on Dan Reynolds, pick up the latest issue of PEOPLE on newsstands everywhere Friday.